There is a number that haunts the ledger of the modern soul. It is 47. $47 in a bank account. It is the 0 hour of the digital age. It is the precise moment when desperation meets the algorithm. We are living in a gold rush where the gold is a ghost and the shovels are made of pixels. Every scroll is a gamble. Every thumbnail is a trap. We see the rented glass of a Hollywood Hills mansion. We see the curve of a Lamborghini that doesn't belong to the man leaning against it. We see the shelves of books stacked like sandbags against an incoming tide of irrelevance. This is the empire of the fake guru. It is a multi-billion-dollar architecture of smoke. It is a cathedral built on the bones of the middle class. We are told that knowledge is the new currency, but in this market, knowledge is a counterfeit bill. We are watching the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of the internet, moving from the pockets of the hopeful to the vaults of the performative. It is a game of mirrors. It is a symphony of manufactured envy. We see the success, but we never see the cost. We never see the debt. We never see the hollowed-out lives left in the wake of a $2,000 PDF. This is not education. This is an extraction. It is a surgical removal of hope, performed with a smile and a high-definition camera. The statistic is staggering. Millions of people, fueled by the fear of a disappearing future, are handing over their last remaining assets to men who have mastered the art of looking like what we wish we were. It is a digital contagion. It is a fever that never breaks. We are the fuel, they are the fire, and the fire is hungry. The paradox is a jagged pill. To sell wealth, you must first cultivate the image of wealth. But to cultivate the image of wealth, you must first take the wealth of others. It is a circular lie. It is a snake eating its own tail, and the snake is wearing a designer suit. We believe that if someone is successful, they must have a secret. We believe that if they are on a stage, they must be a prophet. But the prophet is just a salesman with a better lighting rig. The intuition tells us that value costs money. The intuition tells us that a high price tag equals a high return. The guru exploits this. They set the price at $2,000 not because the information is worth it, but because the sacrifice makes you believe in the miracle. If it were cheap, you wouldn't value it. If it were free, you wouldn't follow. They charge you for the privilege of being deceived. It is a psychological heist. They break your intuition by telling you that the world is a lie. They tell you the school system is a scam. They tell you your job is a prison. They tell you your parents are holding you back. They isolate the prey. They create a vacuum where only their voice exists. And in that vacuum, the absurd becomes logical. The idea of paying $100,000 for a mastermind becomes a strategic investment. The idea of quitting a stable job to flip products you've never touched becomes a bold move. We are told to be alpha. We are told to be disruptors. But the only thing being disrupted is our bank balance. The paradox is that the more desperate we become, the more we trust the person profiting from that desperation. We look at the man in the private jet and we don't ask who paid for the fuel. We just want a seat. Even if the jet never leaves the tarmac. Even if the jet is a studio set in a warehouse in Van Nuys. The roots of this rot go deeper than the fiber optic cables of the present. They are buried in the soil of the 1980s. We remember the late-night infomercials. We remember the glowing teeth and the exaggerated hand gestures of the television prophets. Tony Robbins was the blueprint. He didn't sell a product, he sold a state of being. He sold the power within. But the digital age took that blueprint and digitized the soul. In 2001, the seeds were sown. A young man named Ty Lopez, with $47 and a hunger that could swallow a city, bought a course. $300 for a guide on Google AdWords. It was the original sin of the industry. He learned that the internet wasn't a library, it was a funnel. By 2006, he was on MySpace, testing the waters of persona. He was on Millionaire Matchmaker, playing the role of the alpha suitor. He was building a character. The 2008 financial crisis was the catalyst. It was the great emptying. Millions of people lost their homes, their jobs, and their sense of reality. When the traditional world collapses, the charlatans emerge from the shadows. They offered an escape from the rat race. They offered a life that didn't depend on the whims of a bank. Lopez pivoted from elite dating sites to the business of education. He saw the boom in dating sites pre-Tinder and realized that humans are driven by two things: the desire to be loved and the fear of being poor. He mastered the first with his dating platforms, then he mastered the second with his wealth programs. By 2014, the infrastructure was ready. Russell Brunson gave the world ClickFunnels. He gave the gurus the machinery of the trap. He standardized the webinar. He standardized the upsell. He turned the sales process into an assembly line of manipulation. The historical lineage is clear. It is the snake oil salesman of the 19th century, reborn with a social media manager and a retargeting pixel. It is the same old poison in a shiny new bottle. The mechanism is a cold, calculated machine. It starts with the hook, an ad that stops the thumb, a visual of extreme luxury or extreme relatability. The Here in My Garage video of 2015 was the masterpiece of the genre. It wasn't just an ad, it was a psychological weapon. It used the contrast principle, a Lamborghini for the ego and a wall of books for the intellect. It said, "I am rich, but I am also wise." It invited you in. It felt like a FaceTime call from a mentor. This is the parasocial interaction. You feel like you know him. You feel like he cares. Then comes the webinar. This is the meat grinder. It is a 90-minute exercise in cognitive dissonance. It begins with the origin story. The guru tells you they were just like you. They were broke. They were sad. They were sleeping on a couch. This is mirroring. It builds a bridge of trust. Then comes the Epiphany bridge. They found the secret. They found the one thing that changed everything. They show you testimonials. They show you screenshots of bank accounts. These are the social proof triggers. They are often fabricated or cherry-picked, but in the heat of the webinar they feel like gospel. Then the pressure builds, the scarcity, the urgency. Only 10 spots left. The price is going up in an hour. This is the loss aversion trap. Your brain stops thinking logically and starts acting on survival instincts. You reach for the credit card, you enter the numbers, and you are in the upsell ladder. The $2,000 course is just the beginning. Now you need the $5,000 mastermind. Now you need the $10,000 inner circle. The mechanism is designed to keep you climbing a ladder that has no top. It is a recurring revenue model built on the recurring hope of the hopeless. It is a factory that produces nothing but more salesmen. The students of the guru become the mini-gurus of tomorrow, spreading the infection to the next layer of the pyramid. The conclusion is a dark mirror. We must ask ourselves why we are so easy to break. We are a society that has replaced meaning with metrics. We have replaced community with followers. We have created a world so precarious, so volatile that the promise of a laptop lifestyle feels like the only lifeboat in a storm. The fake guru is not the cause of our problems. They are a symptom of our decay. They are the vultures circling a dying dream of upward mobility. As we move into 2026, the tools are getting sharper. Artificial intelligence is now ghostwriting the courses. Deepfakes are creating testimonials from people who don't exist. The funnels are becoming automated, cold, and perfect. The FTC tries to intervene. They crack down on ClickBank. They issue fines that are merely the cost of doing business. But you cannot regulate a dream. You cannot legislate against the human desire to escape the mundane. The tragedy is not just the lost money. It is the lost time. It is the fractured families. It is the young man who quits his job because a man in a rented jet told him he was a lion among sheep, only to find himself alone and in debt 6 months later. We are building a culture of shovels. Everyone is trying to sell the secret to the gold mine, but no one is actually digging for gold. The economy becomes a hall of mirrors where we all just sell how-to guides to each other until the lights go out. There is a fragility here, a profound, terrifying emptiness. We are chasing a ghost in a garage. We are listening to a man who charged $2.50 for a cup of lemonade when he was a child, and we are wondering why we feel squeezed. The truth is simple and it is free. There is no secret. There is only the work. There is only the slow, quiet accumulation of actual skill. But the truth doesn't have a funnel. The truth doesn't have a Lamborghini. And so we keep scrolling. We keep clicking. We keep hoping that the next $2,000 charge on our credit card will be the one that finally sets us free. But the only person being set free is the man on the screen, laughing all the way to a bank account that we filled for him. We are the architects of our own deception. We are the audience for our own demise. The garage is empty. The books are props. And the clock is ticking on a dream that was never ours to begin with. The architecture of the scam is built on the foundation of our own insecurity. We live in an era where the traditional markers of success have been moved out of reach. Home ownership is a fantasy for the young. Stable careers are relics of the past. In this vacuum of stability, the laptop lifestyle isn't just a career choice. It's a survival strategy. The fake guru understands this better than any sociologist. They don't sell marketing, they sell agency. They sell the feeling of being in control in a world that feels increasingly chaotic. When Lopez stood in front of those books, he wasn't just selling a course on 67 steps. He was selling the idea that you could outread your problems. He was selling the idea that there is a code to the universe, and he has the cipher. This is the Gnostic appeal, the promise of hidden knowledge that the elites don't want you to have. It's a powerful drug. It turns the student into a disciple. It turns the skeptic into a hater. The industry has created its own language to protect itself. If you fail, it's because you didn't do the work. If you complain, you have a poverty mindset. This is the ultimate defense mechanism. It shifts the burden of proof from the product to the consumer. It is a legal and psychological shield that allows the guru to maintain a 100% success rate in their own mind. Even as their forums fill with stories of ruined credit scores and broken marriages, the guru remains untouched, perched in their high-ticket ivory tower. They are the new high priests of a secular age, offering salvation through the gospel of the hustle. But the hustle is a treadmill. It requires constant movement and produces no distance. We see the students crying in the back of seminar rooms, begging for their credit cards to be approved for just one more level of training. We see the desperation in the eyes of the single mother who spent her rent money on a dropshipping course that taught her things she could have found on YouTube for free. This is the human cost of the infoproduct boom. It is a ledger written in tears and interest rates. As we look toward the horizon of 2027 and beyond, the line between influencer and educator will continue to blur until it vanishes entirely. The technology of deception is outpacing the technology of truth. We will see virtual reality masterminds where the guru appears as a godlike avatar. We will see blockchain-based, exclusive communities that are nothing more than high-tech pyramid schemes. The fundamental human vulnerability remains the same. We want to believe that there is a shortcut. We want to believe that someone somewhere has the map to the treasure. But the map is the treasure. The act of selling the map is the only way the guru ever found the gold. We must become our own editors. We must learn to see the cuts in the video. We must learn to hear the hooks in the speech. We must realize that true expertise is usually quiet, boring, and difficult to scale. It doesn't fit into a 3-minute YouTube ad. It doesn't look good in a bikini on a beach in Bali. It looks like years of failure, thousands of hours of practice, and a total lack of secrets. The fake guru industry is a mirror of our own vanity. It thrives because we would rather pay for a beautiful lie than work for a difficult truth. We are the ones who turned the garage into a temple. We are the ones who gave the salesman the power of a prophet. And we are the only ones who can take it back. The next time you see the ad, the next time you feel the pull of the funnel, remember the $47. Remember the lemonade stand. Remember that the man on the screen is not your mentor. He is a predator who has learned to speak the language of your dreams. He is the termite in the house of education. He is the shadow in the light of the digital age. Turn off the screen. Close the tab. Walk out of the garage. The world is waiting, and it doesn't require a down payment. It only requires you to stop believing in ghosts. The dream of the guru is a nightmare for the student. It is time to wake up. It is time to burn the funnel. It is time to realize that the only person who gets rich from a get-rich course is the person who sold it to you. The cycle ends when we stop being the fuel. The cycle ends when we realize that the most valuable thing we own is not our money, but our attention. And it is time to stop giving it away to the men in the rented Lamborghinis. The garage is empty, the books are fake, the guru is a ghost, and you are finally free.